situations. They're pillaging financial resources that should be directed to workers, to fund salary and pensions, to essential services and infrastructure in the archipelago of Puerto Rico. While DLA Piper lobbies for millions of dollars in lucrative contracts in the halls of Congress and the Senate.
Shame.
In contrast, our people are 44% living below the level of poverty, and 80% of our children under 18 are living in level of poverty. We are experiencing food insecurity and a hunger crisis in the colony of Puerto Rico that belongs to the United States. Our people are facing trauma. They're dealing with damage, medical equipment, food insecurity, public safety on the streets, issues with the highways, and the constant outages. LUMA Energy's tentacles reach all sectors of society, even the budgets of the Department of Education of Puerto Rico, where it's costing millions of dollars in electricity bills because they've raised the bill 6 times since June 1st. Our children do not have classroom resources. Our children need repairs because their buildings are falling apart. And yet there's not money for them, but there's $160 million for LUMA Energy. And there's a contract that's waiting for them after November 30th of $1.8 billion. In June 1st of 2021, LUMA took over the operations of Puerto Rican power grid that was previously run by the Puerto Rican Electrical Power Authority, a public entity. This contract was approved by the Financial Oversight Management Board, also known as La Junta Fiscal.
Shame, shame, shame.
That was appointed by the President of the United States. You should know that Betty Rosa, the Commissioner of New York State Education, sits on that board.
That's right. That's right.
Of schools in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
And the closing of schools in New York City.
Fuck Betty
New York
Rosa.
City cut $469 million. This is a struggle for the working class.
That's
this
right.
Is a working class struggle.
That's right. That's right.
We join today the workers who are on the streets demanding justice and the end of the nefarious LUMA contract, as well as the restoration of their jobs to la Autoridad Eléctrica de Energía, to their positions and their collective bargaining agreements. Several days after Hurricane Fiona, workers of la Autoridad Energía Eléctrica called a press conference to request to be reinstated to their positions by executive order so that they could go and repair what was needed in the South and the Southwest. And you know what the governor responded? Nothing! Nothing! You know what the PNP and the PPD responded? They voted only by 1 vote. It didn't pass executive order. And therefore today we have 29 officially, but we know there's hundreds of people that have died just because the governor did not want to let workers that have collective bargaining go and fix the electrical power that's needed in the south and the west of the archipelago of Puerto Rico.
Murderers!
And despite that, because solo el pueblo salva al pueblo, these valiant workers came together in human beings. Capitalism cares about the bottom dollar. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
Not for the rich. We are workers, and we must unite to support the struggle to cancel LUMA Energy contract. We want the cancellation now. We are workers, and we demand queremos sol, affordable, clean energy. We, as workers, must demand the reinstatement of public energy workers with collective bargaining agreements. We, as workers, must demand the end of U.S. militarization of Puerto Rico, not only to repress our people, but to repress people all over the world.
That's right.
We know that millions of dollars are spent internationally to repress people. Israel is like the right hand of the United States when it comes to Palestine. We know that this is happening in the Philippines. We know that this is happening in Syria. We know that this is happening in all of Latin America. We need to stop this. And Puerto Rico is not your military base.
That's right. That's right.
We have to end imperialism. We have to end colonialism. And we need to unite with all of the struggles that are happening throughout the world. Because the struggle is a worker struggle. It is a class struggle. Please repeat after me. La colonia es un desastre.
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 ¡Viva Puerto Rico libre y socialista!
¡Que viva!
¡Viva Puerto Rico libre! ¡Viva Puerto Rico libre y socialista! Porque no queremos los burgueses, porque no queremos capitalistas que dirigen nuestro país. Perpetúen la desigualdad de los obreros, de las clases marginadas, de las mujeres, de las personas LGBTQ. Gracias. Let's do it for the break!
Yeah.
Yes, let's do some international chants. Thank you. From Puerto Rico to the Philippines, stop the U.S. war machine. Puerto Rico to the Philippines, stop the U.S. war machine. From Puerto Rico to the Philippines, stop the U.S. war machine. From Puerto Rico to the Philippines, stop the U.S. war machine. Puerto Rico to the Philippines, stop the U.S. war machine. From Puerto Rico to the Philippines,
Stop the U.S. war machine.
from Puerto Rico to the Philippines,
Stop the U.S. war machine.
from Puerto Rico to the Philippines.
Stop the U.S. war machine.
The people united.
We'll never be defeated.
The people united.
We'll never be defeated.
The people united.
We'll never be defeated.
The people united.
We'll never be defeated. Yeah.
Just checking for our next speaker, y'all.
It's a nice day. It's kind of rainy. She does that.
Warm.
And warm, yes.
All right. Y'all are going to hear from one of our comrades, David Galarza. Woo!
Never heard this chant yet, but of course it's inspired by Bad Bunny, right? I'm one of the baddest spokespeople for Puerto Rico these days. So I'm going to say, yo no me quiero ir de aquí. You're going to say, que se vayan ellos, que se vayan ellos. Yo no me quiero ir de aquí.
Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan
Yo no
ellos.
me quiero ir de aquí.
Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos.
No me quiero ir de aquí.
Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos.
Yo no me quiero ir de aquí.
Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos.
Yo no me voy de aquí.
Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos. Que se vayan ellos.
Gracias, gente. Give yourself a hand. These speakers before me already touched on all the themes that are true and necessary. Thank them all for raising these issues that are so vital, so necessary to raise in terms of what we're confronting in Puerto Rico. I want to emphasize them, obviously. We got to cancel this contract with LUMA. We got till November 30th to cancel this contract with LUMA. We got Come Mierda lawyers from LUMA behind us, but we also have Come Mierda politicians in the city that can play a role in this too. We got the Senate, the majority leader, Chuck Schumer.
Right here,
We got Nidia Velasquez. We got Keaton Jeffries. We got all these people.
You have a
Richie
flyer?
Torres. We got all these people that if they really want to do something for Puerto Rico, they will put
Gabby, you
pressure
have a
on the
flyer?
other Come Mierda
Have a flyer?
in Puerto Rico, Pierluisi.
Can you make
Cancel
sure that
this
this person gets
contract.
one? In the jean jacket?
In Puerto Rico, there are people on the streets today. They're going to be out there tomorrow. They're going to be out there every single day. From Arecibo to Añasco, from Añasco to Rincón, from Rincón to Humacao, from Humacao to Caguas. No matter what LUMA says in their bullshit tweets, there's still tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people without power.
That's right.
And we know from Maria that the people who died after Maria were our elders, mostly. People that relied on power to put their dialysis machines, to plug in their respiratory machines, to refrigerate their insulin. And because they weren't able to do that, because of government greed, because of the capitalist greed, because of the colonial problem that continues to this day, people died. And I wouldn't be surprised if people continue to die today, and we won't know the number because the government will never acknowledge the truth.
That's
They
right.
did it back then in Maria, they're doing it again today.
That's
when
right.
you can't power a hospital, people die, right?
That's right.
When you can't get to your elders because, you know, there's tree limbs all over the place and there's no power and they need medicine, they need their insulin, they need their dialysis, they're gonna die, right?
That's right.
And so when they die, these are not natural deaths. My mind and my heart, my soul, I attribute those deaths to the colony. I attribute those deaths to the U.S. government. I attribute those deaths to LUMA. I attribute those deaths to all those bastards that are going to keep us oppressed time and time again. They're not deaths in my book. They're murders because they could have been avoided.
The exploding generators.
They're murderers,
That's right.
cold-blooded killers. It happened 5 years ago. It's happening now. But the message that I want to bring, really, and it's hard sometimes because protesting feels so fucking good because you want to lift up your voice against the oppressor because sometimes that's all we got. But the message that I learned from a lot of the people in Puerto Rico too is that as important as the protest is, it's also important to continue to look for the proposals or the solutions to this crisis.
Yeah.
Some have already been answered already. Lorraine just touched on them. There's no reason whatsoever that Puerto Rico should not be powered today by solar energy.
That's right.
There's no reason in the world. Studies have shown that if you put some panels on the roof of Doña Fulana de Tal, and the next, a hurricane or earthquake or natural event come around, they will have power.
That's right.
They will have power. And the reason they don't want to do that is because the greedy fossil fuel corporations want to keep us hooked on dirty fossil fuels. It's like crack. Once you keep people on crack, they got to keep on coming back for their supply. When we say crack is whack, and so is fossil fuels, right?
That's right.
We don't need fossil fuels to power Puerto Rico. We're only 100 miles by 35 miles. We've seen it already with Casa Pueblo. We've seen it already with Comedores Sociales. We've seen it already in Marianas. We've seen so many valuable, good solar projects that are happening. And now people don't even have to turn to those primary sources. Now because El Colmado has solar energy, people can go and plug their equipment in there. Now because the barbershop has solar energy, they can plug in their equipment there. Now because the Lechonera has solar energy, they can plug in their power there. We're talking about big money. Not the $60 million drop in the bucket that Biden came down there as some kind of offering. That was an exercise in futility. $60 million is probably what it costs to bring Air Force One to Puerto Rico. But the real money that LUMA is after is the $40 billion that FEMA owes to Puerto Rico. This is not charity. This is not charity. Our brothers and sisters and mothers and tias and aunts, we paid that with our blood. We paid that in taxes. We paid that in wars. We paid that with the sacrifices that were made by our parents. We paid that with Operation Bootstrap. We paid that with the operations that were made on Puerto Rican women. We paid that with the 7 8 years that vehicles were bombed. We paid that shit time and time and time again. They owe us. That's what reparations is all about. They owe us. So we got to make sure that come November 30th, there's no way in hell LUMA extends this contract. And we make sure that money, just once in a lifetime, just at the crossroads, this money needs to go toward a sustainable green future for Puerto Rico. We cannot give this to LUMA. And we got to be clear. We want LUMA out, but we don't want Exxon in.
Nope.
We want LUMA out, but we don't want Chevron in. We want LUMA out, but we don't want Gulf in. They all gotta go.
That's right.
It's LUMA today. It could be one of those motherfuckers tomorrow, and we can't let that happen. I want to share with you a flag that was raised in our juntas. That's not to replace our beautiful flag or a resistance flag, but it's a symbol of what we can do in Puerto Rico in terms of building. Sorry, you know, we're going to make sure that everything's up. So this is the flag that was raised in our juntas in front of Casa Pueblo on the day that we commemorated the losses that we had in Maria. And it's self-evident, you know, the colors from that town, but the sun is superimposed on this because that's the energy future that we need. And it's really special because, maybe I put the Puertorriqueños, obviously, but at juntas, not just Casa Pueblo, but at juntas is showing the rest of Puerto Rico, the rest of the world, what we can and should be doing. Plain and simple, they're showing the world and Puerto Rico that another Puerto Rico is possible. Can I hear you say that? Another Puerto Rico is possible.
Another Puerto Rico is possible.
A better Puerto Rico is possible.
A better Puerto Rico is possible.
A solar Puerto Rico is possible.
A solar Puerto Rico is possible.
A greener Puerto Rico is possible.
A greener Puerto Rico is possible.
A sustainable Puerto Rico is possible.
A sustainable Puerto Rico is possible.
A respectful Puerto Rico is possible.
A respectful Puerto Rico is possible.
The sun doesn't charge us anything. You know, they may want to put taxes on solar panels and everything else. But the sun, Mother Nature, she's begging for us to use that energy. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico pays some of the highest rates in the world. Picture that. And some of the poorest people in the world have to pay the highest prices.
This is the rates that we pay. Puerto Rico is
Some of the highest prices. My father got a bill the other day for over $200. He's a single man living in a house. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I went to the dentist early this morning and I had a numb mouth, but I'm glad that I was able to speak. This stuff enrages me. I hope it enrages you. Make sure that you call everybody that you know to get them out there to do everything we possibly can to cancel this contract. It's within our reach, we can do it. And then we got to cancel or abolish the junta. It's within our reach, we can do it. And then we got to cancel and abolish Act 22 and Act 60 and kick all those fucking parasites out of Puerto Rico. We can and we should do it. We also got to cancel the Jones Act. We can do it. And then we finally got to liberate Puerto Rico, liberate the land. You know, we need energy independence. We need food independence. We got the talent. We just got to get the colony out of the fucking way. Que viva Puerto Rico! Libre!
How's it going?
Puerto Rico no se vende. Puerto Rico se defiende. Puerto Rico no se vende. Puerto Rico se defiende.
Puerto Rico no se vende, Puerto Rico se defiende, Puerto Rico no se vende, Puerto Rico se defiende, no se vende, no se vende, se defiende, 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 no se vende, se defiende. Dale, dale, dale.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
¿Cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora es.
¿Cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora es.
¿Cuándo es?
Ahora, ahora, ahora es.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, los gringos.
Hey, hey.
Ho, ho, Rico is a network of Puerto Ricans in the archipelago and the diaspora committed to the international solidarity and the global struggle for justice and peace.
Yeah.
Woo! The Cambridge Dictionary defines an atrocity as an extremely cruel, violent, and shocking act. This is precisely how we, as LUMA Puerto Rico, define the actions of those who hold power over LUMA Energy, and ultimately those who hold power over our lives on the island we call home. We live in a perpetual state of uncertainty brought on by a set of completely avoidable man-made crises, each one compounding the other, each one rooted in greed and inhumanity. The administrators of the colony, with their austerity measures, have created the conditions for the worsening economic crisis, housing crisis, food crisis, healthcare crisis, the energy crisis, systemically driving us out of our homeland and condemning the majority of us who stay to annihilation in the climate crisis. Take Culebra and Vieques, for example, where the U.S. government and its military practice extremely cruel, violent, and shocking acts in preparation for committing those same atrocities against innocent people around the world in its endless wars for profit, leaving behind generations of environmental contamination, higher rates of cancer, and other illnesses, where the U.S. Navy's, quote, cleanup efforts do not mitigate the continued harm caused by the open detonation of an unfathomable amount of unexploded ordnance dating back to the U.S. earliest use of live ordnance bombardment on Culebra in 1936. The life-threatening lack of adequate health care on Culebra and Vieques. Vieques continues to be without a hospital, compels people to seek care on the big island in an already collapsing healthcare system made more fragile by the constant power outages. Like the majority of the communities throughout Puerto Rico, the people in Vieques and Culebra who are most harmed by the crisis of colonialism and austerity are ill-equipped to endure increasingly unpredictable and extreme impacts of climate change. LUMA Energy and those unethical individuals who profit from it stand directly in the way of our collective survival. We stand with our relatives across the archipelago and the diaspora to demand a just transition to solar and other renewable, sustainable energy. Likewise, we demand that a just transition includes restoring the jobs of laid-off energy workers.
That's right.
So we're gonna say, Luma pa carajo, los gringos pa carajo, Puerto Rico no se vende, y que viva una apertura de Puerto Rico, independencia y socialista y comunista. And we're gonna call up our next comrade to speak. Thank you.
Yeah. Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the Yankees to the sea.
Puerto Rico will be free.
Throw the
to challenging U.S. militarism at home and abroad and fighting for a community reinvestment in our borough. Give it up for Richie.
All right. So, the message that I'm going to give out today has been repeated before, but I think it's important that we keep sharing this message, all right? When you turn on corporate media in the United States, you see them talking about how Hurricane Fiona devastated Puerto Rico, or how Hurricane Maria destroyed Puerto Rico's electricity and water supply. Pay attention to how the capitalist corporate media blames the hurricane.
That's right.
But we must be clear on which entity is responsible for the harm inflicted on the indigenous people of Puerto Rico. It has nothing to do with the hurricanes themselves, but the root cause of Puerto Rico's devastation and the physical and economic destruction is U.S. imperialism and Puerto Rico's status as a colony of the United States.
That's right.
Because Puerto Rico is a colony of the United States, austerity and debt is forced upon the people. The U.S. views Puerto Rico solely as a profit and money-making machine through labor exploitation. And they systematically extract wealth by using the island as a tax shelter for businesses and billionaires.
That's right.
Puerto Rico's infrastructure was fragile long before Hurricane Ian or Fiona or Maria. Puerto Ricans have long lived with inconsistent access to water and electricity due to decades of underinvestment and racist neglect by the white supremacist U.S. government.
That's right.
And when Native Puerto Ricans organized to create a new, more sustainable electric grid, better equipped to withstand climate disasters, the U.S. response was privatization. Boo!
Boo!
This response is a testament to how little the capitalist U.S. government is willing to invest in Puerto Rico and is instead choosing to literally sell the problem to LUMA Energy, the private company currently controlling the electric grid and profiting from this climate disaster. Despite massive protests against the private takeover by LUMA, Puerto Ricans' demand to fund a public power authority, or the Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica, were ignored. The U.S. plans to continue ignoring the demands of the people, demands that include new homes, new public energy infrastructure, and clean drinking water. The dire situation in Puerto Rico shows us how Puerto Ricans are being robbed of their autonomy, and they lack control over their own systems under U.S. imperialism. The people of Puerto Rico deserve self-determination, they deserve sovereignty, and they deserve to determine their own path forward, free from U.S. colonialism.
That's right.
Puerto Rico needs independence, not statehood.
That's right.
No. Puerto Rico
Fuck statehood.
leaders such as Pedro Albizu Campos, Lolita Lebron, and Vidal Santiago Diaz understood that calls for statehood undermined their liberation and self-determination. They understood that U.S. occupation and colonialism came at the expense of freedom. It did not ensure it. So, I'm with Workers' World, I'm with WAR, I'm with Bronx Anti-War Coalition, and all of these organizations and the Bronx stand in support of Puerto Ricans fighting for Puerto Rico free from the shackles of U.S. imperialism and rejects attempts to assimilate Puerto Rico into a racist, oppressive, and capitalistic United States government. So, repeat after me. Fuera Luma!
Fuera Luma!
Fuera Yankees!
Fuera Yankees!
¡Viva Puerto Rico libre!
¡Que viva Puerto Rico libre! ¡Y comunista!